Welcome farm to family members and anyone else who might be popping into this video. This is Brooke with Just Roots Farm and we are unboxing our CSA share for December. In our box this month we got red potatoes, tomato puree, salad mix, apples, beets, sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, one of my favorite vegetables, carrots, some kind of winter squash already cut and peeled, and shiitake mushrooms. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make sweet potato fritters, Parmesan Brussels sprouts that are roasted in the oven, and a tangy shiitake mushroom soup that you can use a ton of different vegetables in your CSA in. Make sure to check out the description for more recipe ideas. We have recipes for every item in your box, so please do click on and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you stay updated with these videos. Let's start cooking. We're gonna do a sweet potato fritter first, and you'll go ahead and grab one whole sweet potato, peel the whole thing with a peeler or use a knife like this, peeling away from yourself. Shred the entire thing. I like to use a cheese grater on a big setting and get that into a bowl. Depending on what spices you use, you can make these sweet or savory. I'm going to do sweet and have them sort of like a breakfast dish today. So I'm going to start with ginger. Use a teaspoon of dried or fresh grated ginger like that, a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Again, you can use savory spices if you'd like. Add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour plus 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. And go ahead and crack 1 egg into there. Now, if it's way too dry to form a ball with your hands, you can add another egg. It really depends on what size your sweet potato was. And if it's too runny, just add a little bit more flour. Stir it up to incorporate all the ingredients. And let's heat up some oil onto a frying pan. I did 2 tablespoons of frying oil and 2 tablespoons of batter. And then you can flatten it with a spoon or spatula like that so it cooks evenly. And I found it took about 3 minutes on either side until they were golden brown and crispy. And I like to drain them on a paper towel just to get the excess oil off before eating them. I serve mine with syrup, applesauce, maybe a chutney. Super tasty, yum. Next up is our tangy shiitake soup, and we're going to use these shiitake mushrooms. It's such a tasty, healthy soup. Go ahead and quarter or half them, depending on how big they are. I just halved mine. And finally slice up 1 to 2 green onions. If you don't have green onions, use maybe a 1/4 of a white onion. I put in a couple tablespoons of oil. I like to use a bland oil, and then I fry or lightly saute the shiitake mushrooms and the green onions in that oil for a couple minutes until they soften. I separated bok choy stems from leaves, and I cut the stems into small pieces so that they cook faster, and I set them aside so they were ready to go when needed. Next up, I'm going to get my ginger ready. So again, you can use some dried ginger or you can use fresh ginger. I'm going to use about a teaspoon, and I just shaved up some fresh ginger here. You can add the ginger and the stems that are chopped up into the pan with the mushrooms just for about a minute and get your stock ready because we're going to pour that in just a second. Make sure you stir it so that the ginger doesn't burn. So I use 600 milliliters of chicken broth. You could really just use the whole container if you get a full container of it. And you want to bring that to a boil. You may choose to add your noodles once your broth is boiling, or if you want to cook the soup now but eat it later, cook your noodles separately and add them. P.S. You can use other vegetables in this too, like the carrots from your CSA share, broccoli, kale, some baby corn, whatever you like. I'm going to chop up those bok choy leaves finely, and I'm going to do them very finely, and I'll simmer them gently for a minute or 2 in the soup. Then I'll add my heaping tablespoon of miso paste, and feel free to taste it and add salt or pepper as needed, whatever you think it needs. Last step is to add the juice of about half a lemon. This will make it really tangy. So if you don't want it so tangy, start off with maybe a fourth. Try it out with chicken, tofu, fish, or other proteins if you'd like. I served mine with those rice noodles and 2 soft-boiled eggs. I hope you enjoy. The last recipe we'll do today is our Parmesan roasted Brussels sprouts. So go ahead and start off by slicing the end off the Brussels sprouts and then cutting them in half. This will likely make the outer layers of the Brussels sprouts come off, and you can just leave those behind. Put those into a bowl, and we will use this bowl to mix up everything that's going in the Brussels sprouts. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees and grab a baking sheet. You can put parchment paper on it if you want to help keep the Brussels sprouts from sticking. Very, very finely mince 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. I used a food processor to help me get it really small, or you can use your patience and time. And then you're going to mix the garlic with the Brussels sprouts along with Italian seasoning, probably about 1 teaspoon. I didn't have Italian seasoning, so I just mixed rosemary, oregano, and thyme in about all of them together, about 1 teaspoon. You could also put in some onion powder or more garlic powder if you wanted to, or maybe even some red pepper. Next, we're going to add some salt. I did 1 teaspoon and some ground pepper to taste. And then we'll coat these Brussels sprouts in 3 tablespoons of olive oil. You can do extra virgin or regular olive oil or whatever oil you want. 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese, finely shredded Parmesan, and go ahead and give that a stir. And then we're just going to spread it over our baking pan that we got ready. And these are going to bake in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Just check on them quite a bit. You want to pull them out once they're golden brown. I hope you enjoy. These are so delicious. Thanks so much for watching this mini episode of Unboxing with Just Fruits Farm. We hope you enjoy all the foods in your monthly CSA and make some delicious meals with your families this holiday season. Take care.